Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 282. Jeffrey Epstein was actively abusing girls for decades. So it should come as no shock or any surprise to any of us that more women are coming forward with claims that they were abused at Jeffrey Epstein's hands. Tonight we have another woman who has come forward, and she is claiming that she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein when she was 18 and that her abuse lasted a year and a half. It's a pretty common theme so far with Jeffrey Epstein, isn't it? These girls come forward after all these years of being scared of Jeffrey Epstein and the influential relationships that he had, being forced to be quiet. And now that Epstein is dead and Maxwell is in jail, and these girls who have been quiet for all of these years see that the justice system is actually starting to work in their favor, I think we'll see more girls who have been quiet about what happened to them in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell come forward and talk about that a little bit more. And we will see a lot more of these suits pop up as we go along with this trial and see how things break, right? But we're going to see a lot more girls come forward, a lot more women come forward with these claims, because it's quite obvious that this man was a prolific sex offender and that he was abusing women and girls for literally decades. That's not even hyperbole. That's not even, stretching the truth. It's legit what was going on here. So when we hear stories like the one we're going to hear tonight and hear about new survivors coming forward, it just adds to the horrendous tale that we already know, right? The horrendous story, the scary, disgusting, deplorable story that has already unfolded before us. These are just other chapters that are added in, missing chapters, so to speak. Our article tonight is from The Wrap, and the headline: Jeffrey Epstein's estate sued for sexual assault, battery of an 18-year-old woman. The complaint says Epstein abused the unnamed woman beginning when she was 18 for about 1.5 years. The author of this article is J. Clara Chan. Another woman has come forward to sue the estate of the late Jeffrey Epstein, saying in a Wednesday lawsuit that the convicted sex offender and financier sexually abused her for 1.5 years, beginning when she was 18, and an 18-year-old aspiring singer and model in New York. And we've heard this how many times from girls who wanted to become models, or girls who thought that Jeffrey Epstein would offer them a clear path to achieve their goals, to achieve what they were searching for and what they wanted as far as their careers. And then somebody like Jeffrey Epstein comes along and he has incredible access to all of these well-placed people like Les Wexner, Victoria's Secret, other modeling agencies. And you're this young girl who is really looking for her break, and you fall into the clutches of somebody like Epstein. Well, we know exactly what occurs next. We've seen the story play out time and time again in regards to this sick monster. According to the lawsuit, the sexual assault and battery took place at Epstein's New York home under the guise of massage sessions. Again, the massages, right? And that's why it's so damning when people talk about, oh yeah, we got massages at Jeffrey Epstein's. In a vacuum, if we were just talking about, one situation of people saying, oh yeah, we got massages at Epstein's, and there wasn't this cloud around the word massage when it comes to Epstein, then we wouldn't be able to draw that line, right? But considering what we know massage meant in Jeffrey Epstein's world, and the fact that these rich and powerful people have admitted to getting massages at Jeffrey Epstein's house, but when they say it, they say, oh, well, it was just a massage. A lot of wordplay from them. They think they can gaslight you. They think they can finesse you. And they think that you're stupid. But boy, are they in for a surprise. The young woman listed as Jane Doe 1001 in the lawsuit and her friend were approached by a woman who said they could get $300 for giving a man a massage. But during the massage, according to the suit, Epstein demanded that the girls take off their clothes and began masturbating. He then instructed the young woman's friend to leave him and the young woman alone in the room, then proceeded to sexually assault the young woman, the suit said. And that sounds about right. Sounds just like Jeffrey Epstein's MO. Starts off as a massage, then he progresses, and then the whole situation deteriorates into a full-on situation of sexual abuse and assault. And we've seen it how many times now? From the massage room at Palm Beach to the Virgin Islands, all the way out to Zorro Ranch. The same story played out time and time again. Epstein made very clear to Jane Doe 1001 that he was incredibly wealthy, powerful, and regularly in contact with world leaders, the lawsuit said. And that, folks, is why I'm always stressing how important the relationships that Epstein had with these people were, with these powerful people, because that catapulted him into another hemisphere. That made people automatically think that Epstein has pull, power, and that he's able to manipulate situations. When you have powerful friends like that, and you yourself are powerful, well, people are going to assume, rightly or wrongly so, that you have some pull, that you're able to make some things happen. You're a mover and a shaker. And a poor person comes into this environment and they see all of this luxurious way of living. They see all of this money, all of this grandeur, and they're intimidated by it, right? They think that if they say anything about somebody like Epstein or about what occurred, A, nobody's going to believe them, and B, if somebody does believe them, that they're putting their family and their lives at risk by ratting somebody like this out. And people who might not be following the case might laugh at that. And to be honest with you, I might have laughed at that before I dug into this case as well. But the fact of the matter remains, Jeffrey Epstein was not only trying to put the thumb on these witnesses, these girls who were accusing him at the time, but he was also trying to put the intimidation smackdown on people like Bradley Edwards and even the cops investigating him. So there is rightful reason for people to be worried about Epstein and the results of saying anything. And these relationships that he was always talking about, the pictures on the walls, that played right into it. That played right into the intimidation and the fear that these victims who became survivors had when dealing with somebody like Jeffrey Epstein. During the massages, Epstein would talk about his connections to a former president, Victoria's Secret, Wilhelmina models, and famous singers, knowing that Jane Doe 1001 was an aspiring singer and a model. Now, of course, Jeffrey Epstein was probably blowing some smoke, right? He was probably talking some garbage and lying about some of his relationships. There's no doubt about it. He most certainly was full of hubris. But the fact remains, the people that he's talking about, the people that these girls reference, he did have relationships with them. A former president, we know who that is. Obviously, Victoria's Secret, we know who that is. Wilhelmina models, we know there. A bunch of famous singers. And that would be the bait, right? Epstein would dangle that bait, and these girls who wanted so bad to have their dreams come true would bite. Epstein was not to be disobeyed, and he made clear by his words and actions that there would be consequences if Jane Doe 1001 did not comply with his demands, the lawsuit continued. She knew that reporting what had happened to her while Epstein was alive would have severe consequences with regards to her physical safety, her family, and her career. She knew that she could not come forward until Epstein was dead. And look, I get it, right? You can't come forward until Epstein is dead. There's no doubt in my mind that you would have some trepidation, right? You'd be a little bit fearful of what's going on. You'd be a little bit worried about what's going on. And, I don't blame anyone for being fearful of this dude when he was alive, right? He's shown that he was capable of great evil. The lawsuit, which is seeking damages to be determined through a jury trial, also named Leslie Groff, an assistant to Epstein, and another woman with an accent as some of Epstein's associates who called the young woman to arrange for her to return to the New York mansion. And I think this is the most important part of this article, in my opinion, folks. The fact that Leslie Groff is named again, the fact that the heat is being turned up on Leslie Groff once again, the fact that somebody involved with the Core Four is being mentioned once again, well, isn't it about time that the Core Four gets a little taste? Isn't it about time that the Core Four gets indicted and has to answer some questions? I'm not asking for any tar and feathering going on here, folks. I'm asking for a fair trial for everybody involved. Let's get to the bottom of what went on. That's all. And so far, these people have been utterly resistant to that. So, when that doesn't work, you have to call them out on their shit. So here we are, right? Jane Doe 1001 felt extremely threatened by Epstein and was terrified of what would happen to her if she failed to comply with Epstein's demands, so she followed the directions of Epstein's employees and arrived at the mansion when directed to do so, the suit said. In a statement sent to the Wrap, Groff's attorney Michael Bachner denied that Groff had engaged in any misconduct when she worked for Epstein. I think, again, the most important thing coming out of this allegation here, obviously, is the mention of Leslie Groff once again. Of course, we know that the assault by Epstein is typical and par for the course, unfortunately, for what we have seen in the greater scheme of the case. But Groff being brought up again, it really starts ringing those alarm bells, right? I said that I believe that arrests are imminent, and I would not be shocked if Leslie Groff is arrested at some point, and I don't know when, right? But I think some point soon, folks. I really think some point soon we're going to see some more movement here, and we're going to see one of the Core Four, or maybe all of them, picked up, and we're going to see sealed indictments unsealed, because it's rather obvious that these women, these four women who were working underneath Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein to help facilitate these crimes, were very much involved. And the way things are going with the investigation and with the way the prosecution is moving, you would think that with the revelation of the grand jury investigation, that it is only a matter of time before people like Leslie Groff are sharing the facility with Ghislaine Maxwell. As an executive assistant to Epstein, Leslie worked as part of a professional staff that included in-house attorneys, accountants, an office manager, and other office staff. Leslie's job included making appointments for Mr. Epstein as directed by him, taking his messages, and setting up high-level meetings with CEOs, business executives, scientists, politicians, and celebrities. At no time during Leslie's employment with Epstein did she ever engage in any misconduct, Bachner said, and that is the exact same lame thing we heard the last time she was brought up in this conversation, right? And it's always the same with these people. They have these canned comments that are made by their lawyers or people that are representing them, or they make them themselves, and they think that's good enough. They think that nobody's going to press any harder or any deeper, because that is what they're used to. For so long, the dumpster fire of a legacy media let them get away with that nonsense. And now that they're being held to account, now that they're being called onto the carpet for their bull, well, they're not really liking it too much. And they think that releasing these kind of canned-ass statements are going to work. But in reality, all it does is turn the pressure up and make the light shine just a little bit brighter. An attorney representing Epstein's estate did not immediately respond to the Wrap's request for comment. Epstein died by suicide last year while awaiting trial for federal sex trafficking charges, allegedly. His associate Ghislaine Maxwell, co-conspirator, fellow child abuser, general all-around scumbag, was arrested last month and is in custody awaiting trial for charges that she conspired with Epstein to recruit, groom, and sexually abuse minors. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty. You know, again, folks, it always makes me feel like I need to bathe myself in a gallon of bleach when I read one of these allegations. Just pour it all over me and let it burn away the disgusting memory of Jeffrey Epstein's exploits. But we're going to see more of this, unfortunately. We're going to hear more of these sort of cases come forward as things progress, as people see that justice is being served. And I think that when we see other people getting arrested that were involved with the actual facilitation of the enterprise running, I think we'll see even more women come forward and bring their claims of abuse at Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's hands forward and into the public record. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night.